Hi guys, it's Shelly here. Welcome to my channel and thank you for joining me today. I thought I'd come on here and share with you guys how I color strawberries. This is quite nostalgic for me because my very first video that I attempted to record was actually an Instagram video or reel or something, and it was on strawberries. I didn't share any color combinations, nothing like that. I literally just recorded me coloring a strawberry. And so finally, after what, 2 years of having a channel, I've decided I'm finally going to share with you guys properly how I color strawberries. Now, there are many ways to color it, I would say, and there are probably lots of different color combinations you can use. So I'm just going to share with you one of them that I'll be using on this particular page. And this is a postcard from Klara Markova's postcard set, I Believe in Fairies. Recently I showed you guys that I have moved my postcards into this little folder. So yeah, that's, I don't have the actual front cover, but it's basically I Believe in Fairies by Klara Markova, her postcard set. And this is one of the ones I think would be in the summer section of her postcards. So her postcards do sort of go through the seasons, and yeah, I feel this is quite a summery one. I've already done the background. I've done an all pencil background, very rare for me, but I used Arctic's pencils, the 126 set. I will have a review coming up soon. I'm trying to use these pencils on lots of different types of paper and from our coloring books, to give you my honest opinion about them and how I feel about these pencils. I know they're not new pencils out there, but they're new for me. And but yeah, so basically I will be doing a review on them, but I've done the background, sky, as well as the grass with the Arctic's pencils. But for the how I color strawberries section, element of this page, I will be using my Faber Castell Albrecht Dürer pencils. I'm going to use them dry so that those of you who don't have Albrecht Dürers and use Polychromos, you can use them, use exactly the same techniques with your Polychromos, because as you guys know, they're the exact same color range as the Albrecht Dürer. So I'm not going to use water to activate them. I'm going to try and avoid that, and I'm just going to use it as dry pencils. So I'm just going to zoom in and let's get started. Okay, so I use a range of sort of pink, oranges, and reds, and red violet and brown for my strawberry, especially in this case. And I've actually not colored strawberries for quite a while, so we'll see how it goes. Otherwise, this will be sort of, I'll probably call it learn with me if I decide that it's not actually working. But let's give it a shot. So I'm starting with my rose carmine. And with this, what I'm going to do is, one thing to realize with strawberries is that depending on the lighting, sometimes it does reflect a very white highlight. So it does look shiny in certain areas, in some cases not so shiny. Also, so we need to sort of give an area of a highlight, all right? So we're going to, when we are basing, so I'm going to start with the rose carmine. And this is going to be my base color, but I'm going to leave areas on the strawberry without any color to begin with, all right, so that we can try and work with a highlight color. The other thing to notice about strawberries is that around these little seeds, they're usually sort of indented into the strawberry, so it would be a little bit darker to try and create that sort of 3D effect of the strawberry. We'd need to make it look a little bit darker, a little bit inset into the strawberry, but also have a highlight area to make one part of the strawberry surrounding that little seed look like it's sort of in a highlight area. So what I'm going to do is, so those are the two main things I say is quite important, other than the colors, to make sure we maintain highlight areas and also create that 3D effect of these around these seeds. So when I'm laying down my base color, what I'm going to do to begin with, and I might go over it later, is sort of leave an area around these seeds without any color, all right, so that I can decide where my highlight around that seed is going to be to make it look like it's indented, because there'll be a high spot, basically an area around the seed that is closer to any light source, and then the seed would be sort of inset. Yeah, so we need to give a little bit of a highlight area. So to begin with, I find it easiest just to leave a white area around these seeds. And when we come to coloring the seed area, we're going to need to have quite sharp pencils, I'm thinking, because there's quite a small area to sort of color and fill in. But let's see how it goes. So I'm literally with a very light hand just laying down a little bit of the rose carmine, leaving an area around the seed without any color, and maybe going to leave highlight area somewhere here. So if I start with the rose carmine here, sort of leave that area around that seed, but then leave a much larger area without any color there. We'll see how it works. You'd always have, depending on where the light source is, which I'm not going to play around with too much. I'm not going for a super realistic strawberry. I think that would be quite hard for me, seeing as I'm not an artist, but I want to give that little bit of an effect of highlights, of light hitting the strawberry, making it look shiny in certain areas. So hopefully, yeah, you can see that I've left quite a large area there for now, because you can always fill up color. It's harder to remove color. And what I'm going to do is maybe keep this area a bit darker. So let's say roughly the light source is going to come from here. So this part of this half of my strawberry might be a little bit brighter with my reds, and this part might hold some darker reds, just to give a bit of variation. And here I'm just going to go over it. I might use paint pens for the seeds. I'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've sort of got down a layer of rose carmine. And then what I'm going to do is just go in with a little bit of dark cadmium orange. So strawberry is not a perfect red element. It's not perfectly red in real life. You sometimes have an orangey shade to the red, sometimes a pinky shade, sometimes really dark red. So I like to use a variety of colors, because it sort of helps with that effect of having different shades of reds in a strawberry. So this gives a nice effect, putting the orange over that pink. Again, I'm still maintaining my areas of white around those little seeds. As you guys know, I like to work with 3D effects. I love trying to create 3D as much as possible. Now this is not going to, like I said, be a super realistic strawberry, but hopefully it will look okay. All right, I've got deep scarlet red. Now with this one, what I think I want to do is start sort of giving you an idea of how because I have my pencil sharp, how the seed will start looking a bit inset. So I'm going to put a dark area. Well, dark area meaning I'm just going in with my pencil, maybe medium pressure around those little seeds. Trying to still maintain, so I'm right up against the line art that Klara has drawn for the seeds, and I'm maintaining those white areas, yeah, that I'd left out. I'm doing it quite slow, aren't I? But all right. And what I think might help, like I do for like certain elements, like my bottles, when I color bottles or glassware, I always put in my white highlight. So I'm just going to put in white, so that when I'm coloring with my other shades that I start going in with, I sort of have laid down a white resist to the rest of the pencils I'm going to go in with. So I'm going with medium pressure, just laying down the white for now, where I'd put the white, or where I'd left the white sort of circle around the seeds. and in this white area. I hopefully have gone over all of them, but there we go. All right. And then I'm going to go back to my deep scarlet red and now start laying down color over the rose carmine and the dark cadmium orange that we had laid down. And I'm still going to sort of, for now, leave the white highlight around my seeds, the areas I'd left. I'm going in with light pressure. I love layering, as you guys know, so I'm not rushing the process. I'm creating light layers, and I'll probably go back and forth with my pencils to give the effect I need. Yeah, I don't want to go dark straight away and then struggle to bring back the little bit of areas of interest, like the highlight areas, the lighter shades of, I don't know, pinkish or orangish on the strawberry. So it's easier to just go light and then work with bringing back, with the darkening up areas if you need to. See? So it already looks like we've sort of created something around those seeds, right? This area is going to be a highlight area, I've decided. So I'm going to try and maintain it for now and not bring in the deep scarlet red into that area. Polychromos work with layering as well, really well with layering. So you should be able to do exactly the same thing as I'm doing with my Albrecht Dürers. I think if I was working with Albrecht Dürers, I would have put these 3 layers, maybe not brought my deep scarlet red as far up, but stopped a little bit further away, and then activated it with water and then started working on my other layers. This way, I would have blended them all together, got rid of the whites of the paper, easier without having to work with pencil too much. And then I would have started working with my other shades of pencils, again, to perfect it, to deepen up the shadow areas, to create more of the 3D effect. But because I'm not using water, I'm just going to use my pencils, all right? So that's deep scarlet red. Then just going in with a slightly different red. Deep red, so not that much, not really darker, just a different sort of shade of red. I'm literally still missing out those white areas. Going up right to the line art, the edge of the strawberry on this side, because like I said, this side will be in shadow. For now, I might not bring up my deep, okay, no, maybe I will, the deep red a little bit up into that area. All right. And now I'm going to go in with a slightly darker, well, a lot darker red to start creating shadows. Sorry, my pencils are actually quite short at the moment, so I'll be switching them back and forth. And this is my middle cadmium red, so quite a dark red. So in areas that I want darker, so sort of at the bottom of the strawberry for this strawberry. And you can sort of mix up where you want your shadow and highlight areas on other strawberries, or yeah, where you want to leave your highlight area. And if you want to add in a little bit of green or yellows, you can do that as well, just to differentiate all your strawberries. But this is... I'm going to show it to you on this one. Now I'm not going to bring up my middle cadmium red all the way up there. Like I said, that's where my light is going to be hitting, so I don't want to make it too dark yet. If I need to add, I will. Okay. So then that's the middle cadmium red. And now I'm going to go in with the red violet. Now with this, what I'm going to do is deepen up the little, look how tiny that is. Okay, I'm going to deepen up my shadow around the seed. So just, we had put deep scarlet red. I'm just literally going to go over the deep scarlet red. Deepen it up because I want to make it look like, you can even elongate it. You can do it slightly different. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle. around the seed. And if a little bit of pencil goes over the seed, that's fine. You can always use a paint pen to go over the seed to bring it back, sort of highlight it again, and then you can use pencil over the top, which is probably what I'm going to have to do. They're so tiny, these seeds. I'm just deepening up the shadow there, sort of helping with that what it's going to look like, the 3D sort of feel to it. Hopefully this works. All right, and then also with the red violet, I'm going to deepen up some of the shadow areas on this side of the strawberry that we said is further away from the light source, if the light source is coming from there. Again, still sort of light pressure, just laying down a little bit of that red violet, give it a bit of interest, sort of a different shade of red. You could put some ever so slightly here because of that leg could be creating a shadow. All right. Then what I'm going to do is go back in with my rose carmine. So first, sorry, I'm just going to go in with my white again, just to make sure I've sort of highlighted the white areas. Now, I don't want a white ring all the way around. If you looked at a strawberry, the white sort of highlight around that seed area is usually sort of on one area or just on the bottom of the seed. So what I'm going to do is I'm just laying down white again to act as a resist, not blending or anything. It's literally to just act as a resist in these areas. Make sure I've got it in there. And then what I'm going to do is with my rose carmine, around those seeds, I'm just going to sort of go over my red, sorry. And I'm just going to ever so slightly go over the white that I've laid down. So that it's not a perfect white highlight on one side of the seed. So for example, here, leave a white on this side. Just going over the white area there. Maybe leave a highlight sort of just under that seed there. Yeah. Hopefully this makes sense, but maybe seeing it will be a bit more beneficial, and you can reduce that white area. So I'm just bringing in a bit of the rose carmine, just reducing that white sort of semicircle highlight. Like I said, it's easier to add color, to get rid of a highlight, than it is to, even though I've laid down white, than it is to bring back. But you can always use paint pens, but I will probably also use paint pens. But and over here, I'm just going over so that, yes, I've laid down rose carmine, but it's very light because of the white base that I'd applied, yeah? So it's not a stark white highlight on one side. Same here. So I'm just going around and sort of working on reducing some of those side. Look, that's quite a large highlight area for this side of the strawberry because it's not being hit directly by the light. So reduce that white area. And if you work with light layers, it really allows you to lay down color and just to keep playing with colors until you're actually happy with the result you've got before you burnish it all. And you can do that with any pencil. I think some colorists are very good, like Chris Cheng, at layering even with Prismacolors. I think the trick is just very light pressure to be able to lay down. All right, now I'm just going to work with some of those colors a little bit. So I'm going to bring back a little bit of dark cadmium orange because we've gone quite pink now. So I want to bring in that little bit of an orangey feel to my strawberry, hints of orange. Definitely around the main white area, white highlight that we've maintained. And just lay it down, especially in the areas that are slightly lighter, that are not completely in a shadow. The shadow areas, I like to have it a bit of a darker red, like with the red violet. There we go. All right. And then, now what color am I going to use? I think what I want to do is go in again with my deep scarlet red, sort of in my darker areas. Basically now I'm just playing with the colors I've sort of laid down to make sure I'm happy with the areas of highlight and just deepening up the shadow, getting a nice shadow area to make your element pop. The difference, the contrast between your highlight and shadow areas is what makes things pop, right? I'm just going to put down a little bit more of my red violet just around here because it's quite red there. All right, now what I like sometimes to do for my shadows on red is use a brown. So I've got walnut brown. So instead of using a black, or greens would work well as a shadow as well, but I sometimes like to use brown, and I'm still light-handed actually. We've put so many layers that it's all sort of blended in anyways, and especially in the shadow areas. So I'm just putting in a little bit of brown and around those seeds again. So over that red violet now that we'd applied. You could use black if you wanted. I haven't colored strawberries in ages. I don't know what made me feel like coming on. I thought, you know, with the summer season, there'll be lots of pages with strawberries in it, especially if you're tackling a Klara Markova page. And so I thought, oh, let me come on and share it with you guys. And it's been, I was trying to think when the last time I did a page with strawberries was, and I think it's been ages. So hopefully this actually turns out good. Okay. All right. Then what I'm now going to do is go in with a little bit of the rose carmine. Just again, these little areas. Okay. And white. White is now just to blend the highlight area into the color, the white area that we'd left into the lighter areas of the strawberry right here. Just blend it in nicely now. I'm not going over all the red because I don't want everything to become too light, but you can blend, or you can go around your little seeds. There we go. I think that looks okay. Maybe the highlight on that particular, around that seed is a little bit too much. So let's reduce that. There we go. Yeah. And then now on the top, you could go straight red, but sometimes I like to put in a little bit of hint of green on the top of my strawberries. You don't always have that hint of green, but I like to sometimes include it. So I'm just going in, oops, with earth green yellowish, sort of blending it into the red a bit. There we go. Now, if you had a highlight area in different areas, you could even like leave sort of a light area at the base of your strawberry, have a bit of green in it. That's what we see in, you know, in real life. So you could do that. Going in next with a bit of green gold. Tiny little one again. I use them up as much as I can, guys. All right, there. A bit of olive green yellowish. Just to create a bit of a shadow underneath those leaves, really. And then a bit of ivory. Just to blend in the green areas with the red. All right. What do you guys think? Let me see. Hopefully I've been in shot this entire time. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I quite like that. I think I feel like I want a little bit of more of orange hint to my strawberries. Not too pink. So I'm just adding in a bit of the dark cadmium orange. There we go. I like it. Hope you guys like it. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. And then what I would do, I've maintained these white highlights actually pretty well. I don't need to go in with a white pen, but say for example you didn't manage to maintain a complete white highlight, you could always take a white gel pen, and I would use a gel pen because the Posca might be a bit thick, and usually my gel pens, I don't get along with them very good over pencils, but they are thinner. They work a little bit easier for small areas. So I would then put just a tiny bit. I can just show you. So say for example here, well actually I'm happy with all the highlights, but just say you didn't have your white highlight, just sort of go in. Let me just make sure it's working. And bring back your highlight. See? Yeah, it's a bit brighter than if you manage to leave it white from the word go. Yeah? But you could just go in and bring back your highlight if you needed to. It gives a little bit more of a punch to the highlight area, I guess, because it's more white than if you left it the way I had. So if you wanted to, that might be a nice sort of finish to those white highlight areas. Yeah, makes it look a bit more glossy if you did use the white pen. But to be honest, the way I'd left the white highlight areas, I would be happy to have left it like that without going in with the pen. But because I wanted to show you guys, I decided to just do that. All right, then I have sort of left those little seeds white, but yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is, so if I had covered them up and I couldn't see the seed, so I'd covered it up with the pencil, then I would go in with maybe like a yellow paint pen. I don't have one out, or go in with something like the Ivory Posca, and just go over your paint, your little seeds. Might as well show you. Okay. So what I would do, for example, here, I haven't really maintained the seed. I have sort of smudged over it. So you can just go over your seeds, bring them back. See? They're so tiny, it is hard. Okay? But there we go. So we bring them back, we let it dry, and then I'm going to go over with a little bit of yellow. Rather than just leaving it stark white. So you could go in over with a little bit of yellow, and that is your strawberry done. So let me leave it to dry a bit, and then we can try and go over with a tiny bit of yellow. So for the seeds then, after you've put in your paint pen, if you had lost your little seed, I go in with a yellowish sort of pencil. Don't cover up the whole dot of paint pen that you've put down, but I just give it a little bit of a yellow hint, sort of to the base of it, really. I've used a Ivory so that it's not too white, because it's not really a highlight area, is it? So you don't want it to be too highlighted. I think personally I wouldn't have gone over with those white paint pens. I do feel they're quite in your face white, but you can always then go over it with pencil, which I might do that just to show you. If you feel that you sort of lost your highlight area around the seed, so you went in with the white paint pen, but you felt that it's too bright, then you can just sort of give a hint of color over it so that it reduces it. I'm going in with my olive green yellowish now, just to, again, such a small area to color, but so this is only if you're like me, over the top and like all the little putting your effort into all the tiny details is when you have to do all this with the seeds. But yeah, I like to put in a bit of green, and that's it. Those are my seeds. I like that. It does look 3D to me. But yeah, so now what color would we go over? Maybe a little bit of the deep scarlet red might work. I hope I don't lose my highlight completely, but ever so slightly I'm just going to brush over my white paint pen. So you can just sort of give a hint of color to it. Because you've got the white undertone of the white paint pen, it'll sort of be a highlight area, but it won't be too white now. Yeah, but it won't be as dark as the deep scarlet red on its own without the white underneath. There we go, guys. So that is how I color my strawberries, and I quite like it. And I'd use this technique, sorry, for all the strawberries, but I may vary where the highlight areas are to give it a bit more interest. Maybe increase the amount of green I have on the strawberry, things like that. So I would sort of vary it a little bit, just to make the strawberries look a little bit different to each other. All right, but that's basically the gist of how I tackle strawberries. Try and maintain those highlight areas as much as possible till the end, to make sure we get those little hints of yeah, the glossiness on the strawberries. I know it doesn't look super realistic, but I'm happy with the way it looks, and especially for pages like a Klara Markova illustration, depending on your style of coloring. If you're a super realistic colorist, then maybe it may not be the best kind of strawberry for you. You may need to work on making it look a little bit more realistic, but I think it works beautiful for the way I color, especially Klara's pages. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope I gave you some ideas on how to color strawberries, and I'll leave you at this point, but I will maybe do one, if not more than one strawberry to music, just so you can see me tackle another strawberry, to give a different highlight area possibly. And yeah, I will leave it to music now, but I'll be back with you guys again soon. So until then, take care. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye. you.